Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLeesCorner. Okay, this is a quick little recap, not a full review, honey. It's not a full review. It's a recap chit chat for those of us who watch P-Valley, who just watched the episode that went off. Okay, I really wish I would have done this last week as well, because I did not want to review P-Valley anymore, because I wanted to be able to just watch it and enjoy it. And that's the only reason I had stopped reviewing it. But I was like, no, if I do like little live after show chit chats on Sunday nights, that should be cool. So I think I'm going to do it that way going forward for the rest of the season, because I just think that's the thing to do. Okay. So again, this is not a full review at all. It is a chit chat. So I hope everyone has watched the episode. There will be spoilers in this conversation. So if you have not watched the episode, if you do not want to discuss what happened in the episode, click off and come back later. Okay? Do that right now, because we're going to discuss it. Now, has everybody who was in the chat, have y'all watched the episode? I need to know. Put in the comment section, yes, I watched, or no, I have not. Okay, so I can see how many of y'all can be talking with me about what we're on. Okay, but y'all know, first things first, if you have not done so already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel to become a whole JayBirds, JayBirds, okay, and okay. To follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG and also on Twitter. Like the video, share it, comment in the comment section. Okay. But hello to everyone. Look, I'm here, y'all. Hey, listen. But I don't know if I feel like being on camera. Y'all know it's late. It's late or whatever. But hey, to everyone that is around here, down in the valley where the girls get naked. If you throwing bands, then you know they gonna shake it. 1, 2, break them. 3, 4. These stop. But hey. Okay, just trying to pop in to say hello. I just want to say hi to your beautiful chat. Well, thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, y'all did watch. Okay, so people watched. Okay, cool. That means the people around here, we can fully discuss this episode. Now, I watched it. It was good. It was good episode this week too. Yeah, I really wish I would have done this last week, but I did not. We'll touch on last week's episode at least. We'll touch on Lil Murder and Big T today. Okay. So yes. Okay, so good. I watched it last night at like 1:00 in the morning, and I was like, damn, this episode was good. I was like, I really have to come on here and have a conversation because, I don't want to not talk about this. Okay. Yeah, Woddy. Okay, Woddy. I like him. Okay, good evening. Good evening. Okay. I hope my air conditioner is not too loud. It's warm here, so I'm like cutting it off. So again, hey folks, just in time. Okay, just in time. But hello to everybody who was popping in and whatnot. Okay, again, as I said, I hope everyone has watched the episode. Okay. Hey girl, I wanted to say I enjoyed you on the panel last week. Okay. Oh, on Maddie's panel. Thank you, Gabby, with the eye. Okay, hey. I see. We all were on live today, and I haven't watched the panel from today because I was live earlier. But I know you was on the stage. I'm gonna watch later on. Good to see you. Hey, this episode gave me so much background. Yes, it absolutely did. Okay. So let's get into what we came here to get into, which is, I'm saying, the quote I feel like is the best thing ever was when her stepmama said, "Be careful being a man's Barbie doll. He'll always find another one to buy." Okay, and I was like, girl. So let's start with Lil Murder, okay, and Big T. So last week's episode, we got to not deep dive into, that's not the right word, but we were able to find out more of a backstory with Big T and Lil Murder. We find out that they were actually, romantically connected. And because of all the turmoil going on in the world at that time, turn my mic up. Big T was having just a reaction to everything going on, and he was just in his feelings, very much so in his feelings. And Lil Murder knew that. So when they were in the room, or whatever, he like, man, you're so wound up for? And with them just talking or whatever, and Big T expressing himself, and we see Lil Murder walk up to him and hold his hand and rub his head to keep him calm, which let us know how Lil Murder knew how to calm that man down in a different way. And then it went from that to them kissing and be like, oh, okay. And then it went from that to them actually, having a sexual situation. Now, I enjoy watching it. And I did talk about it a little bit on my Good Morning. Y'all know when I have my Good Morning Chit Chats, that's where I talk about random stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I did discuss all this on my Good Morning Chit Chat, that I did earlier this week. But I know there was a whole, big thing about, and I also talked about it on my gossip chat earlier this week. But the whole big thing, with people being upset about seeing, a gay male sex scene was dumb to me, because in the same episode we seen Mercedes and on girl fuck. So I'm like, whatever. But for me, what I felt like we saw was the connection between them two. And I told you earlier I had flies, that got in my house, and I just saw another one, and his ass is dead. Okay. However, is that my damn lamp? But the fact that we saw the connection between Murder and Big T, and saw it was deeper than anything else, because the next morning we see Teak found the letter or the postcard that pissed him off. It's like, when I was in jail, when I was in prison, you didn't send me no postcard. Who the fuck is Clifford? Okay. So we see that continues on into this episode. So we see they still at odds. They still fussing. They still mad. Well, Big T is mad at Lil Murder. So we see that disconnection between them two, and everybody else trying to figure out, why is these niggas up there fussing? What's going on? So with Keyshawn and Woddy, we see they read each other's minds. Okay? Her like, are these niggas fucking? I think these niggas fucking. So even seeing them two have a conversation without even having to have a conversation was amazing, because they were looking at each other and they knew what the other one was thinking and what the other one was saying. So we see that whole thing. Now for the rest of the episode, we don't even see any more of Lil Murder and Big T. The rest of the episode is really focused on Mercedes, Keyshawn, Rome, Woddy, and then punk ass Derek. Okay, so we're gonna do this piece by piece. I want to get into the backstory of boom, 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 Keyshawn's home life. So you find out Keyshawn's father, left his mama and got with her stepmama. Okay, who had two daughters. So we see Keyshawn's story arc is really like a Cinderella type of situation because she is the princess who was being basically treated badly by everyone in her family. And, is an evil stepmother. And also it is, the two stepsisters who was whatever. And we see colorism issues. We just see her not being treated. But no one treated Keyshawn like she was worth anything. Even the stepmama said how she raising two kids, and Keyshawn said, "No, you're raising three, bitch. I'm here too." So we kind of see the fact that Keyshawn never had anyone who showed her love at home. So that's why it seems like she's also always looking for love in the wrong places. Even the fact that she was like the hairdresser for the sister, you know what I'm saying? And when the mama complained that, "Oh, you done burnt my daughter's hair off, and you burnt the only thing that makes her worthy," you know what I'm saying? Because she's not light enough. So even though she wasn't light enough, she had long, beautiful hair. Because you've now burnt her hair out, okay, now she isn't worth what she should be worth. So it shows how the mama or the stepmama was her asshole, in my opinion, okay? And just even seeing Keyshawn having to accept that and not show how it affects her. She just kind of accepting it for the most part, okay? And you're like, what the fuck is the daddy at? And even seeing the fact that the stepmama has this fantasy in her head about how she got with that lady daddy. And Keisha had to remind her, bitch, first of all, you can't make it seem as if you served my father some drinks and it was love at first sight. No, you served his wife first, my mama, and then him. So basically, you stole a married man in one way or the other. So we just see there's a breakdown in communication entirely at her house. And her father ain't shit either because her father seems to have a proclivity to being maybe, a nasty old man. Because with one of her sister or stepsisters, when Keyshawn is taking photos of them because they're getting ready for prom and she isn't, her father grips the daughter hip real tight and real weird like. Okay, she, you see kissing on her, whatever, and you see the face and the uncomfortability that she's making, and how Keyshawn pauses and she realizes it. She sees it as well, but she don't say shit. Because again, she her own turmoil of the family, because it's like her daddy don't give no fuck about her, at this point, because her daddy is allowing this lady and her kids to treat Keyshawn like shit. So again, it just breaks down how hard Keyshawn had it in her household. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like breaking down the fact that the woman my father left my mother for treats me like shit. It seemed like her father also ignores her because how was all the other daughters getting ready to go out and you just like, hey, Keyshawn, can you take photos of us? So I'm still the outsider. And then I'm seeing whatever my stepsisters having to put up with because of my punk ass father. I don't have anything to say about any of them because I'm already going through some things, okay? And it was just crazy to me to see all of that. But I want to get some of y'all comments. I don't want to scroll up too far. Yeah, there were a lot of Cinderella references but they were also references earlier in the season and also in last season as well. I told y'all when the episode where Keyshawn was in her baby's crib, it was basically telling the story of Rapunzel. Yeah, they don't speak about what happened to Keyshawn mama, but I mean the fact that her father left her for this new lady, was kind of what it was. What's crazy is I don't think the stepsister's that much lighter than Keyshawn. Was it just because they had long hair? Yeah, I think Keyshawn is was a bit darker than the other sister, but because the stepmama still felt like her daughters are better than Keyshawn because she also mentioned how Keyshawn needs weave, her daughters don't. So that stepmama was not only, saying horrible to Keyshawn, but she's also building her sisters up Keyshawn's stepmom was also building her own daughters up to question themselves if they didn't look a certain way, if they weren't light enough or had long enough hair. So that was complete bullshit to me. Yeah, the daddy was for sure petty, fine, okay, and all that stuff and all that. Um, all the men up in arms this season when there are two men in a consensual and passionate scene, but no one said a word when Lil Murder took it from Uncle. Yeah, from season one. I don't think as many people watch season one. I think way more people are watching season two because they had to play catch up, basically. Okay. The fact that they were able to make Mississippi the focal point of this episode and it didn't get boring, I almost forgot about the rest of the cast. Uncle Clifford doing the narration was fucking amazing. It really, really was. Even the point when he said, I wish I could rescue you, but you have to be like ready to be rescued or whatever. I love that. Yeah, Keyshawn Daddy ain't shit, not at all. But again, it's something that is sometimes not even touched on, and general, like even the fact that last episode, people were so pissed because of a sex scene between Lumber and the Big Teak, but no one even is well, I don't think people should be outraged, but like, why not bring up the conversation of you see this man who's possibly doing stuff to a stepdaughter, but that isn't, a topic because some folks, they just be on bullshit. Okay. And here, I stepmom allowed her daughter to be mistreated by Keyshawn Daddy so she can live the lifestyle. When Keyshawn stepmama said, they'll make you their Barbie doll and buy another one, I felt like that was in reference to her knowing her husband is being inappropriate with her daughter. You can't tell me no different. The mama knew what was up. The mama, to me, completely knew what was up, okay? And, it's just, let's see. Also very triggering with the experience she dealt with from her childhood to now with the scene with Rome. Correct. Okay. So the most part I wanted to touch on about her home life was the fact that we kind of see she didn't feel loved. No one loved her at the house. No one. So she's missing that. And then because of that, we see how she was able to be wooed by the first man who showed her some attention that was positive. We see her at, playing, because she's a cheerleader. Derek, we're introduced to, handsome, white, strong Derek out here, okay? He don't look like a crazy, baby daddy, whatever. It's them before they got to where they are now, okay? So Derek was I don't know what they call it, like a male cheerleader or whatever. I don't know what the correct term is. And because of that, Derek is very strong. The writer of the episode, Katoria Hall, had posted on Twitter how a lot of people had asked, about last season, like how was Derek able to rumble with Diamond? And they kind of explained it because in this episode, we see Derek was strong enough to hold up two people with his hands by himself. He was extremely strong. So it was them even showing us how he's able to physically not only overpower Keyshawn, but he was able to equally hold up and fight for a long ass time, hold his own with Diamond, because of his background as the male cheerleader person or whatever. Who he was like, he lifting 200 to 2. Because if you're lifting two full-fledged people, you lifting 200 people with your bare hands up in the air. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But seeing Keyshawn meet Derek, okay, and then seeing how the other black football players was down talking or speaking down to Keyshawn about her skin tone, how she looked like she shouldn't be out in the sun because she's a burnt chicken nugget. I'm like, the fuck, So it was, but again, they're showing how no one showed Keyshawn any love or any affection. They only treated her badly, and so she probably never felt beautiful because no one had told her that she was beautiful. And then again, here comes the white man, who at that point in time was nice. At that point in time was charming. Okay, but when he see people fucking with Keyshawn, he walked up like, what's going on or whatever. And the black football player, is also teasing him and shit because he's a male, cheerleader or whatever. And Derek fights like 3 football players and beats their ass. And I wonder, because we see Keyshawn sees that. And I was like, if I would have saw that, that would have probably scared me because he was out of control in that moment. But because none of that was directed at her, I think she didn't think about it in that way. But I was like, he was beating it. That was right. When Derek beat up those football players, that would have been the cue for me to not talk to him. And that's crazy. I'm happy they showed her background and why the cycle of abuse has continued. And to add to that, Derek had to fight his father, which were right. So that's something else that we see within the episode is that we see a couple of bruises on him that he blames, for the cheerleading shit or whatever. But it's like, no, his father was, beating him. And it was because I follow the writer's room of P Valley because sometimes you just want to know the backstory of shit. You understand? Because it's the thing to do. And something that one of the writers said, okay, I want to go to my page so I can read it to y'all. Did I save it? But it was something about how so many people, don't like Derek. And I'm going to paraphrase in what it said. They said they did the episode showing you might not be able to make an excuse for Derek's behavior, but you can explain his behavior. And I was like, damn, that's right. That's very true because no one wants to excuse Derek's abusive behavior to Keyshawn. However, we can explain the reason he is how he is, which again it is not an excuse for what it was. But it was for sure just an explanation into how he got to be who he was. And I was like, right, a perfect example of abuse becoming the abuser. And that was a thing. Derek came in and showed her someone wants to protect her, someone wants to love her. And he told her how beautiful she was. How, don't listen to them. You look gorgeous or whatever. Even though in these things, we also hear them speak about how they know it's a color line. Like, in Mississippi, you don't do that. And them being in the diner and them, it was really only black people in there. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't really have, black guys or you didn't have black people dating white people. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that Patrice Woodbine was the waitress. I said, come on now, Patrice Woodbine. She's the waitress or whatever. And she was like, I hope they can pay with this date. So again, it's just even showing how their beginning was kind of innocent. And it just turned into something different because, he took her to the little ball he had, got her a whole dress to make her look beautiful. Okay, again, hence the mama saying, do not allow a man to make you his Barbie because he will eventually replace your ass or probably just toss you to the side. And another thing that they did, and I wish I would have got a photo of it before I thought about it, was because it's a Cinderella type of story, I did not notice that they had Keyshawn basically dressed up in all blue. Most of her outfits was stuff blue this, blue that, blue this, blue that. And the fact that it was like in Cinderella, you know what I'm saying? In Cinderella, it was about the big, beautiful blue dress. And on here, everything she wore was something blue. The outfit she came home in was blue. The what else? The dress he got for her was blue. So it was all these different blue reminiscent of the Cinderella story that they were also putting in this. Okay. And again, he wooed her. And after the little dance they went to, they had sex in his car because again they're both looking for love because he's also at home getting beaten where she's at home being ignored. So 2 traumatized people getting together. And then later on we see, now Keyshawn's pregnant. Keyshawn is pregnant with a child, and things are different. It went from all this light shit to some dark shit. Derek no longer looks like this handsome white knight. He is no longer that. It's no longer that. And Keyshawn, who is pregnant at this point, as she said in the episode, I'm 8 months pregnant, working at Walgreens to support us. Your family, who's rich, should have helped us sooner. My daddy was the one who put, money down for this house for us to get. Your parents are just now starting to trying to be there for us. And because she's being honest about how much she is the one supporting them, even though we know that he was from a rich white family. But because he got Keyshawn pregnant, his family disowned him. So now he blames Keyshawn for him not having the beautiful life he used to have. And he's telling her how she's ungrateful. And Keyshawn only has him. I'm 8 months pregnant. We in this house. My family has also kind of, put me to the side or whatever, because I'm with this white man, and that ain't what we do here. So his family has disowned him, and so has hers in a way. But he's upset at her, and when she's telling him how much she does, and you can't call, because he said something like, my mama told me that you was like a gold digger. He's like, what? Motherfucker, I'm the one putting gas in your car. I'm the one working. You saying I'm doing all this shit. How am I fucking gold digger? When I was only upset that the stuff they got for us wasn't even what I just wanted, like a certain color for this or that or whatever. So Derek is getting upset at her being honest about just the fact that she's the one providing for the family, and this fool chokes her out. And it's the first time that he put us, and I'm not going to put up any photo of anything that's triggering. I'm not going to do that. That ain't my thing, okay, at all. So I don't want anyone to think it's going to be some triggering photos. It's not going to be that at all. But because I don't want to trigger anybody who has been through anything that was shown in this episode. But I felt like we had to have a conversation. But he choked her out and told her, you should be the one paying for this and for that, because it's your fault I got this on from my family. You owe me. I should have never stuck my dick in you. I was like, look. It was crazy to me. The reason I think they did not explore what Keyshawn's mom was, because at that point it didn't matter. Because the situation she was in with the one with the stepmom, her mom being elsewhere really didn't matter when the mom wasn't in the house. And since that's, I think they didn't do that. Because, her mom not being there, yes, that did change things. But if she's living there with the stepmom, they wanted to show us what her life was like at home. So I think that's why they did that. But I'm like, I think, we can't. Her mom not being there was evident. So there was no point in showing where she was, because where she was didn't matter. Because even if she was passed away, even if she was, had moved or whatever the situation was, the point was her mom wasn't there, and she was stuck in this situation. But again, the storyline with her arc was about the Cinderella story. So that's why they did that. Okay. But with her and Derek, and as she's pregnant and being choked out, and she passes out. And we then see she goes home to her house, or with her father and stepmama. And the stepmama opened the door and just, it's like, you can't come back here. You made your choice. You can't keep running away. You have to go deal with it. Bitch, she came to you pregnant at night. Like, what kind of person said, you can't go away? And for her to say, I can't put my kids through that, bitch, your kids is in the house with a man who is potentially touching their cooch. That's the crazy part. So, because Keyshawn had nowhere else to go, because her own family turned there, because the stepmom said your dad feel the same way. And so Keyshawn had to go back to their house to a man who tried to kill her while she was pregnant with a child. She had no other resource but to go back to him. And then she gets back to the house, and there's all these flowers in the baby room, and him, I'll never do it again. But they always say that. The first time is always the most shocking. They will always say, I will not do it again. And that was the bullshit. Even in the diner, when Keyshawn asked him, would you be able to take me home? To me was also a nod to black women and white men ain't really happening right now. So while you like me and we hear this diner, could you ever take me home to your family? And when his mom seen them at the dance and the mom didn't look happy, we knew for a fact that shit wasn't going to be kosher at the house. It was not. So Derek also knew being with her would have some blowback. But he's still blaming her because of how he feels. So for me, I feel like Keyshawn, who questioned Diamond when Diamond said that Derek called him like, whatever derogatory racist name, and Keyshawn was like, what? I'm like, Keyshawn, in my opinion, showed how he feels about her when he said, I should have never stuck my dick in you. To me, that was about her as a black woman. To me, that's what it was, okay? But I was just like, we just see how the abuse started and the reason she ended up going back. And that's the crazy part. Let's go to this shit right here. It's crazy. It's like it's kind of insane a little bit because we in current day, Keyshawn and them on tour, and she's having to deal with the fact that this is her life. I'm going to be on tour for 2 more weeks, and this is what we have to do. Okay, we see her manager, punk ass dude, who we know we don't like no more. Okay, we do not like him anymore at all. He can kiss all ass. And he's kind of convincing her, that she has to do this new, what was it? We have a little wig line thing or whatever, and you should wear this blonde. He says he's convincing her to do some other shit. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. And she puts on a blonde wig. It's blonde wig, Keyshawn, the rest of the episode. I'm trying to edit some stuff because I forgot to put one other graphic up, and I want to get it for y'all for the last part of the conversation. Rome last episode, when he seen how scared Keyshawn got when Teak was fussing with the white girl, and it set Keyshawn off, and Keyshawn just looked scared. And when Rome said, hey, if you ever feel that scared again, I got your back, I'm here for you, he really made her feel like, he was gonna help her. He was a good person. That is what he made us think. Okay, keyword, he made us think that. And I was like, sir, you full of shit. So we see them going to the little strip club. We see Jonathan in there. I don't really care about, y'all know I don't like Jonathan because I feel like Jonathan be on BS or whatever, and I can't, clap her. But it was some bullshit. But she's at the strip club. She's the big dancer now. They're giving ode to her and all these things. And, Jonathan invites her back to the strip club, back to her, to their party or whatever. And to her, like, look, they're going to always see you as a hoe. But you can't really give into that or whatever. So they get back to the room, so it's Woddy, it's Teak, it's also Murder, whatever, and then Rome. And, Teak and them was upset because Rome on this bullshit on how he should not have to do for everybody. And so that's how Lil Murder and Teak end up leaving. Rome say, when you change clothes, come on up to my room, let's talk. Keyshawn go up to that man's room, and when she do that, I was like, it's making me mad. I don't like that man. And they had Jonathan as if she was a fairy godmother. I was like, bitch, get out my fucking face, okay? Rome been plotting. And even though he had these moments of seeming like I thought he was plotting on her, like take her money. But, she get up to the room and the wig line he told her about, oh, that's going to fall through. But do these stripper heels. And she's like, well, no, that's a small market or whatever. I don't know. Well, go try them on with your outfit. Look in the full mirror and then, let me know. And she in the mirror looking at the outfit and the shoes. Ron walk in his robe and the camera. With his robe open, dick out swinging. Dick out swinging. Now, let me say this, okay? Pop on screen. They show us a lot of dick. And I ain't mad about it, okay? I was like, oh, it's dick. Oh my God, it's dick. Okay, but other than that, I was like, I don't like where this scene is going. The minute I seen him, I was like, I don't like it. And the fact that Keyshawn felt uncomfortable from the moment she turned to look, she's like, I was like, I hope this scene ain't going where I think it's going. And the fact that she's like, stop, don't do that, that ain't cool or whatever. And it's like someone said, Rome, who told her earlier that you have to keep working and doing this tour so you don't have to go home to the old boy. I'm trying to help you not have to go back home to that. So he put it out like he was trying to help her. And someone said something like, he was trying to help her just so that he could be the next person to possess her because he felt entitled to be with her. And he felt like she was a weak woman because of what she put up with Derek. And he thought, I can play on that. And Keyshawn was like, first of all, I ain't fucking you. Don't think because I'm a stripper that I don't know what I'm doing. Don't think that I'm out here, allowing whatever to happen. Like I'm selling a fantasy and that's it. And she turned him down and tried to walk away. When this fool followed her to the room and then told her how he knew Lil Murder and Tick was gay and was fucking each other, and show her video. So which means he had a camera in the room to catch them. And I'm telling y'all, the episode where they was on tour in their bar and old boy said, wait till this new thing come out called Trade Tales. Let's see how much Lil Murder gonna do that. Ron knew from that statement there that something was up with Murder and probably Big T. He was always trying to catch them. So the fact that he showed a video footage of them proves, okay, that was on bullshit. So Keyshawn knew at that point, Rome out here on some bullshit. You ain't fuck that. I ain't fucking you, leave me be. And when this fool tossed her on the bed and said, you owe me, bitch, or whatever, and proceeded to try to take it from her, I was like, I know they not gonna show Keyshawn get taken. I don't want to see that. I was look, when I tell y'all I was having PTSD, I was like, Lord, please no, please no, please no. And the fact that she was able to get away, she scratched his face, kneed him in the balls, and she ran. And we see her slow running through the hallway, to y'all and everything. And she runs back to her room because she had Woddy wait in her room because she was going somewhere. And when he like, what's wrong, Keyshawn? Because she looked, crazy or whatever. Because she's not crazy. She's in shock. She's in shock. I mean, crazy is in her one titty is out or whatever. She's barefoot, so that's what I meant by that. And she tells him, I'm stupid. I'm so dumb. Like, he tried to fuck me. He was only doing it because he wanted to fuck me. And when Woddy said, well, you not stupid, Keyshawn. You may be naive. I was like, Woddy, be honest, okay? But he was shocked to hear, like, that's crazy that he would do that. And her thing was, I just want to go home. I'm done. I want to go home or whatever. So Keyshawn wants to go home. And then she goes home. Now, she goes home and she then is dealing with Derek. And the fact that Derek, in my opinion, is an asshole. She get home and she's happy to be back, but also scared to be back because then I'm back in my own prison. And he seemed happy holding one baby, the son on the floor, whatever. And when she's reaching for her son, the oldest boy was like 3, he keeps crying. Every time she touch him, he's crying. And she's like, what is he crying? She's like, I don't know, he may be dismissed or whatever. And so we then see that Keyshawn takes the baby to the hospital because she's like, what's wrong? And they say, oh, he has a dislocated like either shoulder or like his elbow. And she's like, what? So she's shocked. And at first she's like, oh no, it's normal, it's okay, like it happens all the time. The nurse, because the little boy moving around, and the nurse then realizes there is a bruise on his back. And because of him seeing because of the nurse and the bruise on the back, they realize, okay, he getting beaten. I am completely shocked they did not call CPS. I don't know why they didn't. I really don't know why they didn't. That completely confused me or whatever. That she was able to come home with that baby and or whatever. Because either way, that baby ain't safe. But you know what that also is? People don't care about black children. Is what I thought it could be. Sometimes abuse of children will fall in between the cracks because no one really cares. So I don't know if that was a note to that situation, or if she explained it away, like, oh, maybe when he fell, the shoulder thing and the back thing could have been the same. I was working for the past 2 weeks. I don't know. Anyway, she get home and she's like, you beat our son. Like, I cannot believe, because I think at the end of the day, Keyshawn never thought he would put hands on their child. I think she trusted, he may beat my ass, we will not do that to the children. And her thing was, I walked in the house, you didn't even ask me about what they said with our son. Like, you didn't even ask me, because he knew he been beating the kid. And when she's like, you dislocated his elbow, whatever, you've been beating him, he's 3. And this fool said, I will discipline my kids how I want to. And, he get on my nerves. He be crying too much. Like, he's a fucking baby. And the fact that they are arguing because Keyshawn is pissed that you beat my child. And she said to him, you can beat me, you can beat my ass, but you will not beat our children. And his response was, well, no. I would discipline my children how I want to. My father, my dad, and to me, that's how I'm gonna be. And Keyshawn tried to reason, you are so much better than him. You do not have to be like him. Like, you can be a good person. You cannot beat you cannot be beating my kid. And that started more of an argument. Because my thing was, I would have left. I would have came in the house, got my other child, and went to Uncle Clifford and been done. Because once you think like you can't trust him with your children, you need to leave. And I think this is the most we've seen Keyshawn stand up to him. So I'm going to give her props for that, because she was making it clear, like, you will not do this. No, sir, not at all. And when she reminds him how, because she's like, I got to go on my job interview. And she's like, you're not going to get the job. You're not going to get the job. And I will continue having to be the one to take care of my 3 children, my 2 sons and you. And Derek punched her in the face. Her whole look, it was a horrible scene of her, because we've never seen him beat her. So seeing him hit her like she's a grown-ass man was horrifying to see. However, the reason they show it is because that happens every day to people in these situations. And I think so many people last season questioned Keyshawn's decisions, and we now see why she's made those decisions. She only has known Derek her whole life. He's the only one who showed her this twisted version of his love, and so she do not see yet, bitch, you need to leave. So it was a great thing to see the reason why it seemed like she stayed the whole time, because she never had anybody else. And to see him basically beat her for standing up to him to say, you will not beat our kids. And he's beating her saying, I will discipline my kids how I want. And when he dragged her to the kitchen, the whole time I was like, bitch, kill him. Bitch, kill him. I was screaming, kill him. And he picked up that iron. And I was like, bitch, no. And her begging him, like, burn, basically, when she said, dude, burn me anywhere but my face. Please don't, because he put the fucking iron, a hot iron, that he was just using the iron clothes to her face. And she's begging him as she's standing there, her mouth bleeding, to, please, anywhere but my face. And the fact that he was like, I will, discipline my kids how I want. And he puts the iron down, and she just kind of falls to the ground, and it's just crying because, again, like, that's her situation. And now that we know the backstory, it also reminds us of why she hasn't left. Because she don't have nothing else. Even though you did, but because of how she was raised, that was all she knew. And it's weird, yeah. Derek said on the fact that the abuse he went through made him into a real man, and it isn't, because he kept saying, like, that's what I did to me. I'm looking at my kids. It's like, no, fool, you hated getting beat. You just took it. And Keyshawn was like, what you're doing to him, to the kids. This is the thing. When he said, I will whoop my kids how I want, the son he beat up was 3. The other baby is younger than that. That's what's crazy. Because he really feel like I can abuse my children and hurt them to where one has a dislocated elbow and has black and blue bruises down his back. Is cool. I was like, Keyshawn, baby, at the end of the day, Derek need to be either dead or in jail by the end of this season, in my opinion. It's crazy. Now, that was that situation. Now we're going to get back into this shit. Because, again, Rome tried to take it from Keyshawn, and Woddy knew. We see Woddy go to his room. In Rome room, it's a full-on orgy. It's people having sex everywhere. Honey, it's in COVID times. I'm like, how y'all up there fucking like that? No mask on or nothing. So Woddy like, hey man, can we talk about the tour or whatever? Because Keyshawn has gone home and he know that. So Woddy and Rome go sit and talk in the room. And Woddy offers him some cocaine, some cocaine. And because he does cocaine all the time. Okay. And they're talking about, what we're going to do now that Keyshawn left the tour. And Rome, like, man, I find another bitch. You know what I'm saying? Nothing or whatever. Blah. So he's acting like ain't no big deal. Sitting there with scratches on his face. And Rome look at Woddy and say, hey, man, won't you do a line first? He felt like because I always say you never should do somebody else's drugs because you never know. So, all right, cool. Woddy was smart, and he sniffed a different line of cocaine that was already on the table, not the coke he brought, which made Rome feel comfortable to do the lines of the coke that Woddy brought him. And they sit up there talking or whatever, whatever. And Rome was acting like ain't shit wrong. They're going to replace Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? And how that can also help Murder because I might know him or whatever. As they talking, Rome get the coughing. You ain't looking too good. Woddy played this scene like, oh, you ain't looking too good? Yeah. Have you ever seen somebody die? He like, I found my mama. I know I watched my mama die. He's like, yeah, that should be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So how you want to be buried? I was like, how you want to be buried? And I was like, that nigga probably spiked the cocaine. Look, Woddy don't play about Lil Murder, and now we see he don't play about Keyshawn. Because when Keyshawn put that blind wig on, he told her, like, I think you look better without the wig. I like the hair that grow out your head. So he's showing her love in his own way. Okay? He's absolutely the MVP. And as Ron was coughing and he's basically dying, okay, boy, like, you know what I'm saying? Sean told me everything. You know, what a video at. He like, well, I ain't got no video, nigga. You like, man, look. He sat there and like talked to him as he was dying, showed him that, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna OD because I gave you fentanyl, nigga. Okay, you sniff fentanyl. And I was like, what? I was like, whoa. Look, Woddy played this scene like a real G. I fell in love with him after that night, nigga. Because Woddy came in to one, he knew Ron would try to blackmail Lil Murder, which would ruin Woddy's shit as a manager and also ruin Lil Murder. It will also out a lot of bullshit. Not only that, nigga, you try to take that girl cooch. I don't play them games. And if we think about it, nobody really liked Ron. They dealt with Ron on the strength of him and Keyshawn. And when Keyshawn said he been using me the whole time to just fuck me, he was just waiting to fuck me. Now was really it. And then Woddy saying to him, like, you know what I'm saying, basically, you gonna die, and you have someone here to help you ease yourself into, you know, being dead. And when he winked at him and said, not nigga, because all these seasons they've been playing the murder game, where when someone winks at you, you gotta die. And so he winked, and then Ron died. And the fact that he got up and walked away as Ron was falling over on the floor and this cat walking, and all the fuck were like, oh shit, he OD'd. He OD'd. Now, Woddy did not get Ron's phone. So I wonder if that's going to, play a part into something later on. But Woddy for a win. You will not assault Keyshawn and try to outright. Not on my watch. Look, we don't play about Keyshawn. We don't play about Lil Murder. We don't play about anybody around here. Not even Haley or Mercedes, Uncle Clifford. No one. We don't play them games. And truthfully, Ron was an outsider. Ron came in because he seen how popular Keyshawn was and how she was, working with Lil Murder. Woddy always been around and been Lil Murder's manager. So Ron had to die. He was the Undertaker. He really was. Yeah, Ron, he didn't get the phone because I don't think he even had his phone on him. So, we're gonna see. That's gonna probably play out eventually, okay? Right? He told that man his mama was in hell. I mean, yes. Look, hey, that's what happened. So, my play or my thoughts on this episode was we were able to see Keyshawn's backstory on how she got to the point of being able to get with Derek. We also see why she stayed because she had nothing else. But we then see her fighting for herself and standing up to Ron and not allowing another man to just handle her any kind of way. Which shows us she has the fight to want to not be in fucked up situations. Because even with her talking to Derek about how you would not put your hands on my kids, you can beat my ass all day, but you will not do that to our children. And my thing is, he had to die. Wrong with liability. Okay, come on now, love, boast, and power. But it was just like, right, Woddy, Lil Murder, Keyshawn going to put together, and Keyshawn got command herself. Because the thing about it is, when she would be talking to Ron, she knew more than he did. And a part of me still feel like he was fucking on the back end. Period. And I feel like at the end of the day, Rome had to die. And also, so would Derek. But I also feel like they may not kill Derek. Derek may be arrested for abuse and be put in prison for some time or whatever. Okay, so I just don't know what it's gonna be. I don't. What I do know is this episode touched on abuse. It touched on colorism. It touched on men being inappropriate with young girls. It touched on men trying to take things from young girls. It touched on people trying to exploit gay people and out gay people. It also touched on someone eliminating an enemy who had to be stopped. And people was saying how they did not like this show, this season. This season is amazing. Each episode is amazing. I really hope they get a season 3 as well, and we can get more backstory to each character, because we need a backstory for. We need one for Mercedes. Like, we need to see I feel like the only reason they may not do a play-by-play of Mercedes' past is because we've already heard it through conversation between her, the wife of her baby daddy and her mama. We've heard what it was, so we kind of don't need that back there. But yeah, for Clifford for sure, and I think also maybe for Diamond, it can happen. We've also already had, you know what I'm saying, a backstory of Haley, even though I feel like it's still shit we don't know about Haley, okay? But the show absolutely needs to be renewed. Each episode is different and good. It built up for the end. It's impeccable storytelling. The season is very well written, and the cinematography is chef's kiss. I hope they don't play club. They don't play club Keyshawn, fuck up our money and make her no longer dance. I don't know how this show would ever end in whatever way. But I feel like I'm just happy we're getting good storytelling, and that we are having conversations that need to be had. Yes, the white girl was Gidget in the story. Yeah, that was Gidget. So Gidget's been around since then. You know. So I just love the show in general. Uncle Clifford speaking the whole time. You know, Uncle Clifford's narration was amazing, in my opinion. That was also a help to this episode. So again, great episode. Again, next week, so every week what I will do is I will do after show chit chats. Okay, it won't be no, like, I, you know what I'm saying, it may not be this long or whatever, but I'll do after show chit chats for the show, and that'll be it. So I will see y'all next Sunday night when the episode goes off. We can come around here and have a little chit chat. And that should be easier for me. I hope y'all enjoyed our little conversation. Because again, everybody, this is a great show to just talk about. It really is. And it was a tough episode. Because so many people have experienced one or all of or some of the things that Keyshawn is going through. So I like how it's showing us leaving isn't as easy. The same way as getting into it wasn't that easy. Or wasn't, because she didn't walk into a situation where she knew how abusive he was and she stayed. Like, it grew over time. Like, he didn't put his hand on her for the first time when she was 8 months pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So I will continue on with these chit chats. So we'll be here next Sunday at around 11 p.m. as well. I love you all. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And if anybody is going through what Keyshawn is going through, you can leave. You know, I know for a fact there are always shelters and help around in most cities and states. So if you are going through that, you know, reach out, ask for help, walk away. Because no one wants to get to a point where someone loses their life because somebody could not keep their hands to themselves. So again, I love you all. Peace and blessings until next time, y'all. Peace.